Welcome to IVF This, episode 157, IVF and Progressive Muscle Relaxation. Hello, 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 my beautiful friends. I hope you are all doing so well today. I'm really excited to share with you a tool that I use both myself and I teach my clients, and that is Progressive Muscle Relaxation, or PMR. I might use both of them interchangeably throughout this episode, so Progressive Muscle Relaxation or PMR, same thing that we're talking about. I use it and have used it kind of on and off over the last several years. I'll use it and I'll forget about it, and then I'll remember it and I'll use it again, and thus the cycle continues. But I have been talking about it more and more with my clients lately, especially when I talk about the feel better now method of processing your emotions. If you're not familiar with it, I did an entire episode called Feel Better Now. NOW is an acronym, which stands for Notice and Name the Emotion. And this is really specific to powerful, uncomfortable emotions that you're experiencing. So you're going to notice it and name it. You're going to open up to it, and you're going to witness it, meaning describe the emotion as if it was like as if you're describing it to a third party or something like that. You're using descriptive as a way to witness how that emotion is playing out and feeling inside your body. Now, my clients love that process or that method, but it can be kind of challenging because when you're in the throes of a really strong emotion, you have to have kind of the mental wherewithal to stop and actively decide to process. And some of us are just not in that place, and that's okay. So I think progressive muscle relaxation is like a bridge between feeling that really uncomfortable emotion and sitting there and processing it. But it gives you something to do rather than just trying to figure out how to sit in the yuck of that feeling. Let me start by giving you a little bit of background and why and how it's helpful, specific around IVF, of course. And then towards the end of the episode, I'm actually going to walk you through an exercise so that you can just kind of turn this episode on whenever you want or need it, hear me go through it so that it can walk you through it, right? And I think that's a really beneficial thing, is because if I were to just provide you with like a link or to tell you to go Google search progressive muscle relaxation, it's very hard, especially when you're first starting to use it, to go through kind of all the steps. Maybe you'll get some of them. If you're anything like me, it's like a smattering of the different areas. I don't know. That's just how my brain works. So I wanted to provide you an actual script, an actual method for you to do that so that you can come back to it and use it when you need it. So progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR, has a really rich history kind of rooted in early-ish 20th century psychology. It was a technique that was developed by Edmund Jacobson, an American psychologist and physician in the early 1920s-ish, feels right. Jacobson's research focused a lot on the relationship between muscles and muscle tension and anxiety. He kind of observed that when people were anxious, they often had higher levels of muscle tension, which if you're anything like me, when I get stressed, my shoulders, I almost wear my shoulders as earrings. They come up so far under my earlobes. My husband will even like push down on my shoulders if he notices me clenching. I carry a lot of my anxiety in my upper traps and my shoulders, things like that. So he kind of observed this with his clients and with his patients. And so he published these findings in the book Progressive Relaxation, catchy title, in the early 30s, which kind of laid the groundwork for the progressive muscle relaxation techniques that we know today. His method involved tensing and then relaxing specific muscle groups in a systematic way, based on the idea that muscle tension was a direct result of our mental state, our mental status, and that by reducing muscle tension, we could actually achieve this state of mental relaxation, right? He started to link a lot of the brain and body connection that we see today. So Jacobson's approach was very empirical. It was very rigorously kind of scientific studied. He used an electromammography machine, which is an EMG, measuring muscle tension, validating his kind of research hypothesis. Over time, his work has kind of been adapted and simplified. The original technique was very, very like long, time consuming, but many practitioners over the last, 100 years have modified it and made it much, much more accessible for people within the like mental health counseling therapeutic space and outside of it, right? So it's made it kind of very broadly accessible, which is, I think, probably one of the best things that could have happened. I think most people think about progressive muscle relaxation in a different way. Like they kind of understand the concept, but not really know how to apply it. So again, that's why we're here. So the more accessible that it was made, the more often and in different ways that it was kind of utilized within the world of therapy and counseling. So by the mid 20th century, PMR was a pretty integral part of what we know now as cognitive behavioral therapy. Therapists who utilize cognitive behavioral therapy figured out how they could help clients manage their anxiety, stress, really making it an invaluable tool for anxiety disorders, panic disorders, and phobias. Even more research has come out over the last 100 years, reinforcing the validation of Jacobson's work. So the scientific backing for PMR gained in popularity in both clinical and non-clinical settings, including hospital, schools, workplaces, sports training programs, things like that. So with more advanced technology, PMR has been integrated into a lot of different formats, right? There are mobile apps, there are online programs, there are guided audios, which is kind of what we're going to do today. There's a lot of really amazing ways that this modality is now very accessible to people in a much wider audience. It's often, very often used in kind of this holistic approach to health and wellness, combining like other relaxation techniques, mindfulness practices, and general lifestyle interventions to promote overall well-being. PMR continues to be a very respected and widely used method for stress management, stress control, and promoting relaxation. So that's the necessary background, right? So what does it do for us, right? So that's a good question. I'm really glad you asked. Progressive muscle relaxation offers a lot of physical and psychological benefits. So physically, it helps to relieve muscle tension, improve circulation, enhance sleep quality, alleviate pain, and actually lower your blood pressure. Psychologically, PMR is effective in reducing stress and anxiety, improving mood, enhancing focus and concentration, increasing just overall awareness of your body sensation. It supports mindfulness, managing symptoms like depression, PTSD, panic disorders. It promotes an overall sense of control, which I think if you're in the midst of IVF, you probably don't feel a superabundance of control. So it actually promotes a great sense of control, supports holistic health, and it's just a really easy method to learn and replicate. So let's make it specific to IVF, right? So for several reasons, PMR can be very beneficial during the IVF process. IVF, as we all know, is a very physically and emotionally demanding experience. So using relaxation techniques like PMR can just help you overall manage the stress and improve your feelings throughout the entire process. Physically, it helps alleviate some of the muscle tensions that arise from the stress and anxiety, also with the physical discomforts that come with IVF, whether it's in the stimulation cycle or in the transfer cycle, universally applicable during IVF. It can lead to improved sleep quality, which is really crucial for our mental and physical health throughout this process. The enhanced blood circulation is also really beneficial. It helping to manage the physical and or emotional pain that we experience. Like we're going through an extraordinary physically and emotionally demanding experience. I tell my clients this all the time, especially when we're going through a stim cycle. You're basically asking your body to run a marathon all day, every day, 10 to 14 days in length, depending on how long your stim cycle runs for, you are asking your body, you are demanding of your body a lot. And so I think including PMR in whatever self-care or relaxation mindfulness practice that you have is so beneficial. But it also is beneficial, like I mentioned at the top of the episode, it's a great bridge between feeling that really uncomfortable, really powerful emotion and not really knowing what to do with it, and then actually sitting and intentionally processing the emotion like we do for the Feel Better Now process. So reduce stress, increase relaxation. Those are main things that we want during the IVF process. So, like I said, it also gives you that sense of control over your body and your emotions, which can be a really empowering feeling during IVF, right? We don't get, I think for a lot of reasons, we don't get to feel empowered through this process. Some of us do. That's not to say that it's a universal experience. Some of us do, but there are a lot of things, whether it's our thoughts or the actual situation, that feel very disempowering. So I think even just in these moments where we can kind of capitalize on that empowerment, do it, right? And the whole process can take 10 minutes, it can take 3 minutes. I think the script that I'm going to provide you is around 3 to 5-ish minutes, just depending on how slow you kind of pace yourself. I'm going to try and pace us pretty slowly during the exercise, just so you have that. But you can go as quickly or as slowly as you want. There's no right or wrong. So for IVF success, a relaxed body and mind can be a more conducive environment for embryo implantation, for follicle stimulation. Now, hear me say this so loudly. Stress, experiencing stress, having a tense body does not mean that your IVF will not be successful, right? That the implantation will not be successful, that the follicle stimulation will not be successful if you're experiencing stress and or a tense body. That's not what I'm saying. You can have all of those things and still have great success with IVF. I raw dogged IVF definitely the first time and had great success. But I think all of us would agree that relaxation and reduced muscle tension, reduced stress is kind of an ideal situation for us going through IVF. Okay. So don't hear me say anything and make that mean that you're doing it wrong. If you're not doing progressive muscle relaxation, if you're feeling stress, if you're feeling muscle tension in general, that's not what I'm saying. We're just incorporating more tools in our toolbox. Okay. We also experience, because of the brain-body connection, when we have that reduced muscle tension, we are able to kind of access more of our intentional thinking, right? Not to say that you're not going to experience anxiety during this process. Anxiety is a very normal, natural, and expected emotional experience, just in general, in life in general, certainly during IVF, but it can promote that more level emotional balance rather than the ebb and flow, the highs and the lows, the emotional roller coaster that we talk all about all the time. I'm going to talk you through this progressive muscle relaxation script. I am going to be reading from a script. I want to be very clear and deliberate with my words. So if you're watching this on like my YouTube channel or something like that, just know that I am reading from the script because I want to be very intentional with my words. I don't want to misspeak. And I am going to speak at a slower cadence, and I'm going to be incorporating more pauses. And if my voice deepens a little bit, as my friends have made fun of me, it's kind of, they call it my bedroom voice. Not sure why. My voice does tend to change when I try to slow down my cadence and slow down my pace. So just know that if Emily starts to sound a little bit seductive, it's not intentional, although it might be. No, it's not intentional. I'm just trying to make sure that I am really slowed and measured and controlled so that you really do achieve the maximum benefit from this exercise. Okay? So we're going to be practicing progressive muscle relaxation. This exercise will help you to relax by progressively tensing and then releasing different muscle groups in your body. Please find a comfortable position, either sitting or laying down, and close your eyes. I want your eyes to remain closed throughout the entirety of this exercise. And we're going to be taking a few deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling slowly through your mouth. So let's start with 3 deep breaths. Breathe in deeply through your nose, hold for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. Again, breathe in, hold, and exhale. One more time, breathe in, hold, and exhale. Now let's begin with your feet. I want you to curl your toes downward and arch your foot, tensing the muscles in your feet. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release, feeling the tension melt away. Now I want you to focus on your lower legs. Tighten the muscles in your calves by pulling your toes towards your knees. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Feel the relaxation spreading through your lower legs. Next, tighten your thigh muscles. Squeeze them as hard as you can and hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release, feeling the tension leaving your thighs. Now focus on your hips and your buttocks by squeezing your buttocks together tightly. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release, feeling relaxation through your hips and your buttocks. Now I want you to move your attention to your stomach. Tighten your stomach by pulling your belly button towards your spine. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release, feeling the tension leaving your stomach. Now going to your back, I want you to arch your back and bring your shoulders together behind you, holding for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Let your back release completely. Now I want you to extend your arms in front of you and make fists with your hands, then tensing your arms from your hands through to your shoulders. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Feel the relaxation in your hands and through your arms. Now we're going to be focusing on your shoulders and your neck. I want you to lift your shoulders up to your ears, tensing your muscles. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Let the tension just flow out. Now gently press your head back as if you're trying to touch the back of your neck to the top of your spine. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Feel that relaxation throughout your neck and your shoulders. Now we're going to go to our lips, cheeks, and jaw. I want you to press your lips together tightly and tense your cheeks and your jaw, holding for those 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. And feel that relaxation spread across your face. Next, squeeze your eyes shut tightly and scrunch your nose, holding for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. And notice the difference as those muscles relax. And then for the last specific body part, we're going to focus on your forehead. So I want you to wrinkle your forehead, raising your eyebrows as high as you can. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release, feeling that tension melt away. And finally, I want you to tense your entire body, your feet, your legs, your stomach, your chest, your arms, your head, your neck, and your face. Tense as hard as you can without straining, and hold that tension for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release, feeling that tension melt away. Now, I want you to take a moment to enjoy the feeling of being completely relaxed. Notice how different your body feels compared to when we started. And when you're ready, gently wiggle your fingers and your toes and slowly open your eyes. Take your time getting up and carry this sense of calm with you throughout the day. Okay. That was our progressive muscle relaxation exercise. I hope you find it useful. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you use it. Return to this episode and just incorporate progressive muscle relaxation in your normal self-care practice as frequently or as often as you find it necessary, find it beneficial, find it helpful. So that is what I have for you this week. Have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of IVF This. If you like what you've heard, click subscribe and follow to make sure you don't miss an episode. And if you want to learn more, head over to www.ivfthiscoaching.com to learn how to work together.